Your emotions are the steering wheel of your life. If you don't control them, someone else will. And the truth is this: most people fail not because they lack talent or knowledge, but because they couldn't control what they felt in the heat of the moment. Think about it. Business deals collapse because of anger. Relationships shatter because of pride. Dreams die because of fear. Emotional indiscipline is the silent destroyer of greatness. Today, I'm going to show you how to take back control of your emotions, master your reactions, and position yourself for unstoppable success. If you've ever wondered why you sabotage your own progress, why you can't stay consistent, or why you quit when life gets hard, stay with me. What I'm about to share could change the entire trajectory of your life. Most people believe that success belongs to the smartest person in the room, the one with the highest IQ, or the most impressive degree. We've been conditioned to think intelligence is the golden ticket to wealth, influence, and achievement. But reality tells a different story. Walk through life and look around. How many people do you know who are incredibly smart, yet broke? Talented, yet unemployed? Brilliant, yet stuck in mediocrity? Why? Because intelligence alone does not guarantee success. The truth is, life rewards those who can master themselves, not just their thoughts, but their emotions. Emotional discipline is the silent advantage, the unseen force that elevates the ordinary to extraordinary. It's not the size of your brain that determines your destiny. It's the strength of your self-control. Let me explain why. Every decision you make is influenced by how you feel in that moment. Think about it. Why do people overeat when they know it's unhealthy? Why do some quit on their dreams after the first failure? Why do people blow their savings on things they don't need? It's not because they lack knowledge, they know better. It's because they lack emotional discipline. Their feelings hijack their logic. Their impulses overpower their principles. Senya, and here lies the ultimate truth. Your feelings are powerful, but they were never meant to be in charge. Emotional discipline outperforms intelligence because knowledge without control is useless. What good is knowing how to save money if you can't resist emotional spending? What good is knowing how to build a business if fear stops you from taking the first step? What good is knowing the right words if anger destroys every relationship you try to build? Intelligence gives you potential, but emotional discipline converts that potential into reality. Emotional discipline is not about suppressing feelings. It's about directing them toward your purpose. Successful people feel fear, frustration, and doubt like everyone else, but they don't allow emotions to dictate their actions. History is filled with examples. Some of the most brilliant minds failed not because they lacked ideas, but because they lacked the patience to see them through. On the other hand, some of the most successful leaders in history were not the most educated, yet they rose to greatness because they mastered their emotions. They stayed calm under pressure. They didn't panic when others did. They acted with clarity when everyone else reacted with chaos. Here's the truth that no one likes to admit. Your emotional state is the gatekeeper of your future. If you can't control what you feel, you will sabotage everything you've worked for. Anger can make you lose a job in one conversation. Fear can make you miss an opportunity that would have changed your life. Pride can make you reject the help that would have saved you. So which one would you rather master? Knowledge or emotion? The world teaches you to chase knowledge. Schools reward information, but life rewards application. And application requires control. It requires the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. That's emotional discipline. The courage to act on principles, not impulses. If you want to succeed, really succeed, start here. Learn to lead your feelings instead of following them. Because the person who controls their emotions can control their decisions, and the person who controls their decisions controls their destiny. Dreams don't die overnight. They don't vanish in a single moment. Most of the time, they die slowly, silently, without warning, because of something we often overlook: our inability to manage emotions. This is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't announce its arrival. It doesn't scream in your face. It works quietly, one decision at a time, one reaction at a time, until the life you imagined is no longer possible. Think about it. How many people started a business with passion only to quit because they got frustrated when things didn't work fast enough? How many relationships with great potential ended because one person couldn't control their temper? How many careers were destroyed because someone let anger speak louder than wisdom? Dreams don't die because of lack of talent or lack of opportunity. They die because of lack of emotional discipline. One emotional outburst can undo years of progress. One bad reaction can close doors that hard work opened. We underestimate this truth because we live in a world that glorifies feelings. Do what feels right, follow your heart. But here's the danger. Your heart can lead you into traps if it's not disciplined. Feelings are temporary. They shift like the wind. Today you're motivated, tomorrow you're lazy. Today you're excited, tomorrow you're anxious. If you build your life on feelings, your foundation will collapse the moment the storm comes. The silent killer of dreams is not failure. It's the inability to stay steady when emotions rise. Failure can be fixed. You can start over after a failure, but emotional indiscipline, it makes you walk away before the breakthrough. It makes you quit right before success shows up. And the worst part, it convinces you that quitting was logical, when in truth it was emotional. I want you to remember this. Every time you let emotions lead, you put your future at risk. Anger might feel good in the moment, but it can cost you years of progress. Fear might protect you from short-term discomfort, but it will rob you of long-term growth. Impatience might satisfy you today, but it will bankrupt your tomorrow. That's how dreams die, not because they were impossible, but because the person carrying them wasn't stable enough to endure the emotional storm. Life will test your patience. Success will demand your restraint. Opportunities will often come wrapped in frustration, rejection, and delay. The question is, can you remain calm? Can you keep showing up when nothing is working? Can you speak peace when your world is shaking? Because that's what emotional discipline looks like. Greatness is not for the emotionally fragile. It's for those who feel the same storms but choose a different response. It's for the person who refuses to let anger dictate their words, who refuses to let fear dictate their steps, who refuses to let discouragement decide their destiny. The silent killer of dreams is not outside you, it's inside you. It's your inability to master what you feel. If you don't control your emotions, they will control your future. And every dream you ever had will remain just that, a dream, never a reality. So guard your emotions, train them, discipline them, because success is never just about what you know, it's about what you can endure without breaking. Every single day you are spending something more valuable than money. It's called emotional energy. Like currency, you trade it, you invest it, and unfortunately, most people waste it. Here's the truth most people ignore. Your emotions are not just feelings. They are a form of currency that either builds your future or bankrupts your potential. Think about how money works. You have a limited amount. If you spend recklessly, you end up broke. But if you invest wisely, your wealth grows. The same principle applies to your emotions. Every time you give your energy to anger, you're spending. Every time you dwell on fear, you're spending. Every time you react to negativity, gossip, and drama, you are draining your emotional account. And when it's time to make decisions that require strength, focus, and clarity, you're empty. That's why so many people fail. Not because they lack ability, but because they are emotionally bankrupt. They've spent all their energy fighting battles that don't matter, arguing with people who add no value, stressing over things they cannot control. By the time an opportunity shows up, they have nothing left to give. Success requires energy, and the most important energy is not physical, it's emotional. Here's something you need to understand. Every thought you entertain, every feeling you allow, is either an investment or an expense. If you invest your emotions into patience, you get wisdom as a return. If you invest your emotions into gratitude, you get peace and clarity. But if you waste your emotions on jealousy, on comparing yourself to others, on chasing validation, the return is emptiness, frustration, and failure. Some people treat their emotions like a leaking wallet. They give away joy to strangers who cut them off in traffic. They give away peace to every negative comment on social media. They give away focus by getting involved in arguments that have no reward, and then they wonder why they feel tired, anxious, and unmotivated. The truth is, you have been spending your emotional currency in all the wrong places. Ask yourself, how much emotional energy are you giving to people who don't care about your destiny? How much energy do you waste worrying about the past or fearing the future? That's like throwing cash into the wind. If you manage your emotions like money, your life would look completely different. You would stop overspending on things that destroy your peace. You would start investing in things that multiply your value, relationships, growth, vision, purpose. Here's the reality. The wealthiest people in life are not those who just have money. They are those who have mastered where they spend their emotions. They protect their peace like a treasure. They don't let every situation pull them into chaos. They know that the mind needs stability to create, to lead, to achieve. Emotional discipline is emotional budgeting. It's knowing when to spend and when to save. So let me ask you, are you investing your emotions into your goals, or are you wasting them on your distractions? Because your future depends on the answer. Remember, your emotions are a currency, and if you keep spending them on the wrong things, you'll never have enough left to invest in the life you deserve. Every major mistake you've ever made happened because you reacted too quickly. Every moment you regret began in that small space between what you felt and what you did. That tiny gap is the most powerful space in your life because it determines your destiny. Emotional discipline is not about never feeling anger, fear, or excitement. It's about what you do after you feel it. Here's the truth. Emotions will come. You can't stop that. Anger will rise, fear will whisper, impulse will scream for attention. But between the emotion and the action lies a gap. That gap is your chance to win or lose. If you fill that gap with reaction, you fail. If you fill that gap with reason, you win. The most successful people in the world are not those who never feel. They are those who master the gap. Think about a firefighter running into a burning building. Do you think they don't feel fear? Of course they do. But they don't let fear dictate the action. They acknowledge it, then choose courage instead. This is emotional discipline, feeling the emotion without letting it control the decision. Most people live on autopilot. Someone insults them, and before they even think, they lash out. They feel hurt, so they quit. They feel anxious, so they delay. They feel excited, so they overspend. They destroy relationships, opportunities, and trust, all because they don't pause in that critical gap. The gap is where character lives. It's where wisdom speaks. It's where destiny is shaped. If you can buy yourself 2 seconds before reacting, you change the outcome. If you can take a breath before sending that angry message, you save a friendship. If you can wait a day before making a financial decision driven by excitement, you save your future. This is not weakness. This is strength at its highest level, self-control. We often think strength is shown in action, but the greatest strength is shown in restraint. Anyone can hit back when they're hurt. Anyone can quit when they're frustrated. But only the strong can pause, process, and choose the higher response. That gap is where battles are won. That gap decides if you build or destroy, succeed or fail, lead or lose. Emotions are temporary, but consequences are permanent. Acting on a 5-second feeling can create a lifetime of regret. How many people have said words in anger they can never take back? How many have posted something online that cost them their career? How many have made choices in fear and locked themselves out of opportunities forever? All of it could have been avoided by mastering the gap. When you feel overwhelmed, when emotions surge, remember this. The first impulse is almost always the wrong one. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, if I do this, will it move me closer to my purpose or further away? That simple question in the gap can save your destiny. Mastering the gap between feeling and action doesn't make you less human. It makes you more powerful. Because true power is not the ability to act. It's the ability to choose the right action regardless of what you feel. If you learn to control the gap, you'll learn to control your life. Your emotions are like muscles. They can be weak, they can be strong, and they can be trained. The problem is most people treat emotional strength as something you're either born with or without. That's a lie. Just like physical fitness, emotional fitness is built through intentional exercise. If you never work on your emotions, they will remain weak, and weak emotions will control you. Strong emotions, when trained, will serve you. When you go to the gym, you lift weights. The resistance tears the muscle fibers so they can grow stronger. Emotional strength works the same way. Life gives you resistance. Stressful moments, disappointments, betrayals, unexpected challenges. These are not just problems, they are your emotional gym. Every time you face difficulty, you have two choices: break under the weight or grow through the resistance. People who avoid pressure never develop power. They run from challenges and wonder why small things keep breaking them. If you want emotional discipline, you need to train daily. Start small. When someone irritates you, instead of reacting instantly, pause. That's a rep. When you feel like quitting on a hard task, but you keep going, that's a rep. When you're anxious and choose to stay calm, that's another rep. Every rep makes your emotional muscle stronger. Over time, what used to trigger you won't move you. What used to scare you won't stop you. That's the reward of training. The people you admire for their calmness under pressure, their resilience in storms, their ability to make wise decisions in chaos, they didn't get that way by accident. They trained for it. They practiced restraint when no one was watching. They endured small battles so they could win bigger wars. Emotional strength is not built in the spotlight. It's built in the daily grind, in the unseen moments where you choose control over impulse. The reason most people fail in emotional discipline is that they want instant results. They read a book, watch a motivational video, and expect to be transformed overnight. But just like muscles, emotions don't grow in a day. They grow with consistent effort. You can't do one workout and expect a six-pack. You can't practice patience once and expect to be unshakable. This is a lifelong process. Here's a powerful truth. Pain is your trainer. Every frustrating situation is a workout for your emotions. Every delay strengthens your patience. Every betrayal builds your resilience. Every time life doesn't go your way, you are in the gym of destiny. Most people waste those moments by complaining instead of training. They want the weight removed instead of learning to carry it. But strong people understand that resistance is a gift. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. When you start viewing life this way, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, this is my training. Because the truth is, the person with the strongest emotions wins. Not the person who has the most money, the most talent, or the most opportunities. The one who can stay calm when everyone else is panicking. Focused when everyone else is distracted. Disciplined when everyone else is quitting. Train your emotions like muscles, because one day life will test your strength. And when that day comes, you don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your training. One of the biggest traps in life is tying your value to how you feel in the moment. When emotions are high, you feel unstoppable. When emotions crash, you feel worthless. That constant rise and fall destroys confidence, weakens decision-making, and leaves you living like a slave to feelings. Emotional discipline requires a deep understanding of this truth. Your worth is not a mood, it's a fact. The danger of attaching self-worth to emotions is that emotions are temporary. They shift with circumstances. You wake up motivated one day and depressed the next. You get praised today and criticized tomorrow. If your identity moves with that tide, you'll never have stability. You'll celebrate when life says you're valuable and collapse when life says you're not. That's a dangerous way to live. Real success begins when you separate who you are from what you feel. Feelings are indicators, not dictators. They can inform you, but they should never define you. Think about this. When a thermometer shows it's cold outside, you don't become cold inside. You recognize it, adjust, and move forward. Emotions are the same. They show the temperature of a moment, but they do not change your identity unless you let them. People who tie self-worth to feelings become prisoners of approval. They live for compliments and die from criticism. One harsh word can crush their confidence because they've made other people's opinions the foundation of their value. And when life hits them with rejection, they spiral into despair. This is why some of the most talented individuals fail. They have the skill, but not the emotional independence to handle life's swings. You need to understand that no emotion, whether joy, sadness, anger, or fear, adds or subtracts from your worth. Your value is fixed regardless of the storm. Imagine a $100 0-cent bill crumpled, stepped on, or dirtied. It's still worth $100 0 cents. Life will crumple you. People will step on you. Circumstances will make you feel dirty, broken, or less than others. But none of that changes your inherent worth. Detaching your identity from your emotions is not easy because society teaches the opposite. Social media reinforces it every day. If you're getting likes and attention, you feel valuable. If you're ignored, you feel invisible. This dependency creates emotional instability because your sense of worth is outsourced to circumstances you can't control. The truth is, confidence built on feelings will collapse the moment feelings change. Confidence built on unchanging truth will stand even in storms. So how do you detach? It begins with awareness. The next time you feel worthless, stop and ask, what changed about my actual value? Nothing, only my mood changed. When you feel on top of the world, remind yourself this high is temporary, but my worth is constant. Emotional discipline is the ability to experience feelings without letting them redefine you. Here's the reality. The world doesn't reward emotional instability. It rewards those who can lead themselves regardless of the chaos around them. When you no longer measure yourself by feelings, you gain an unshakable advantage. You make decisions from principle, not impulse. You stay steady when others break, and, most importantly, you live free because your identity is no longer at the mercy of an unpredictable emotional state. When you know who you are, emotions become signals, not shackles. That's when you win. Motivation is powerful, but it's not permanent. You can listen to an inspiring speech, read an empowering book, or have a breakthrough moment and feel unstoppable. Yet a few days later, that fire fades. Why? Because motivation is a spark, not a fuel. It gets you started, but cannot sustain you. If you rely only on motivation to manage your emotions, you will always live in cycles. High today, low tomorrow, disciplined one week, distracted the next. To truly succeed, you need habits that work, even when motivation disappears. Habits are stronger than feelings because habits don't ask for permission. They don't need you to feel like it. They run on autopilot. When you build emotional habits, you create a system that stabilizes you through emotional highs and lows. This is what separates consistent achievers from inconsistent dreamers. Successful people don't stay disciplined because they always feel good. They stay disciplined because they've created structures that make the right behavior automatic. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every day motivated to brush your teeth. You just do it because it's part of your life. Imagine if patience, calmness, and focus were like that. Automatic behaviors that no longer require effort. That's what emotional habits can do for you. They transform emotional stability from a daily fight into a lifestyle. The question is, how do you build them? It starts small. If you explode in anger every time someone offends you, the habit is impulsive reaction. To change it, you need to replace it with a micro action, like pausing for 5 seconds before speaking. At first, it will feel forced. That's okay. Habits are born in discomfort. Repeat it consistently, and over time, it becomes second nature. What was once a struggle becomes your default setting. Another key is creating routines that protect your emotional state. For example, if you know scrolling social media first thing in the morning triggers insecurity or comparison, replace that with reading something positive or journaling. If daily stress makes you reactive, schedule a 10-minute reflection period to reset your mind. These small actions may seem insignificant, but stacked over time, they create emotional mastery. The power of habits is that they multiply without asking for attention. One habit leads to another. Start practicing self-control in one area, like delaying your response in an argument, and soon you'll notice greater control in other areas, like managing anxiety or resisting impulsive decisions. Why? Because every habit rewires your brain to favor discipline over disorder. People who fail emotionally often wait for the perfect mood before they act. They say, "I'll calm down when I feel better," or "I'll be disciplined when I feel motivated." That thinking guarantees failure because feelings are unpredictable. You cannot build a stable life on an unstable foundation. Instead, you must build habits so strong that they survive bad moods, exhaustion, and disappointment. That's how you create consistency. Responding instead of reacting doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. It shows that you are not a slave to emotion, but a master of it. And that mastery is what separates those who fall apart from those who rise above every challenge.